Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are ready for an exciting little jaunt into Protoss versus Terran. We've got Shopkeeper Dog playing the part of the Protoss, typically a Terran main. He is in the bottom right of Crisis Vector, a classic map that we never see in Weekend Wage. Wink. Winkend Wage? Winkend Wink? He is in the bottom right, and he is going to be playing as our Ultramarine Protoss. Top left is going to be Pathologic, aka Ayud64. He's been remembering the game Pathologic and advocating for it, telling people to check it out. Maybe it's good, I don't know. I haven't played it. In the top left, he is our Sunglow Terran, there you go. And he will be going ahead and scouting on 10 as his Fulcrum is coming up. Now, the Gateway Scout has been popularized by Ouya for a little bit, and Shopdog is going to also be doing it. Maybe he technically was the progenitor of it, actually, or maybe it was just an established maxim convention for scouting, but I know that Ouya likes to do it, so he's the top performing Protoss right now, so he's sort of who I associate with as the leader of the match. I also feel like he just kind of grinded a bunch of games and experimented with a bunch of things, and that's how he came to be so good. I mean, he's also a pro player from Starcraft 1, so he's clearly got talent, but it's kind of interesting to think about that anyway, and be like, I wonder, because, you know, it's just interesting. It's interesting to see that. Like, is he just going to be is he also going to be the meta sort of torchbearer, or is he going to be the kind of, like, I would say, like, Ayud, and Newt has identified himself in this way as well, but Ayud is kind of like this, where if you show a really good meta, if you show a really strong sort of approach, then Ayud will take it. He'll play a bunch of games on it, grind a lot, and then get to the point where he feels really good about his final situation and be like, okay, I've mastered this build to some degree. That's kind of what Ayud does. He sees an idea from somebody else and incorporates it, and sometimes he will come up with his own sort of meta definition, but it's not always a guarantee. He's a bit more of like an optimizer on something that has existed as an idea already. So it's kind of interesting, kind of neat to think about that kind of stuff. He's clearly experimenting a little bit here because he's going for the one Folk Ministry variant, and Shopdog is going one Drac Nexus. Guys, we might slowly be reaching a point where more and more games are going to have these faster expansion timings because people have solved for getting that faster expansion up. And it would really be kind of beautiful if that were to happen, because obviously that's something that the established meta, if you will, of StarCraft 1, of Brood War, is to really prioritize expanding unless you're doing something very aggressive and very sharp. And I think that's really neat, and I like multi-base play. I think, you know, macro games in general tend to be more exciting, more interesting, but I also want you to have to earn it, because if you just default get a macro game, well, then it devalues the games that go a long way. If the average game length is just enforced to be a certain minimum, then that's not very interesting. So I'm glad that we're slowly but surely seeing a slide into more macro-based play. And I think the pros are actually a big part of that. Ziki and Ouya really do like to get their multi-base games going. And so it's really interesting to see the other players also maybe not following suit, because that might be a little bit too strong of a word, strong of a term to describe, because it specifically puts the pros on the pedestal and then says everybody else is following them. These guys play more than the pros do. The pros are playing StarCraft 1 and Cosmonarchy. These guys are pretty much exclusively playing Cosmonarchy when it comes to RTS games. So, you know, it's just something to think about. But we'll get to that later on as we see more and more, developments in the meta. And we do have Panoptus coming for Shopdog. That's interesting. Embassy coming as well. He's got a lot of Dracodons. He's made a single Zealot. There's a lot of vultures being laid all over the place here, and the airplay can be a really big sort of spanner in the works for Ayud's game plan. He's made exclusively vultures and mines, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and save his Vespene for tier 2. That's all well and good, but the Stargate play means that, you know, you can come in here and start killing workers and stuff, and there's literally nothing to shoot back. Maybe also what Shopdog can do is his embassy is going to finish, he'll make a witness and start clearing mines with the Dracodons. You could very easily see a world where Shopdog goes and attacks with the Dracodons and then brings the Panoptuses with him as a way to ensure victory over the mech army. That being said, the vulture count is pretty scary, and he's only got a small number of gateway units, right? And so the Panoptus might have to help out at home. 11 vultures, make it 12, a dozen, an Ayud dozen, which is actually just a regular dozen. But, you know, Baker's dozen, Muta's dozen. There's a couple of different things. For a couple of different dozens that are out there, 13 and 11 respectively. 1311 feels like it might have been a significant year in history, but I can't remember why. So post in the comments if you know, I guess. I don't know. We have an artisan on the way after the witness is provided. There's not a lot of Dracodons. He's got 2 more in the on the high ground, but they're not on the rally. He's going to have to pull the boys. Panoptis is also making a show of it, a show of force. And now Aoud has a little bit of a tempo advantage on the air units. Right now he knows that they exist. He's going to cycle back to his mines, and he's going to start setting up watchdogs in the mineral lines and making Goliaths as well. His Atlas is already about a quarter of the way complete. His 3rd base on location, very bold, but it makes sense given the map state. And now the witnesses are going to help clear the mines. We got 5 vultures kind of pocketed towards the 6 o'clock position. More vultures laying mines out towards the 3rd with double gas, mind you. That's a double gas 3rd. The Goliaths are going to garrison that 3rd base, I guarantee you, and we're going to have the watchdogs cover for harassment. 3 Panoptises can kill a watchdog, though, so got to be somewhat cognizant of that. I love that he pocketed these vultures and then went in for a raid. Great attempted block from Shopdog to stop the run by, and Aoud does take his eyes off the ball for a moment there. Doesn't quite kill that Dracodon, but he wants to go for worker damage, and he's pulled the whole army back. Even more time bought in this head-to-head. The worker count is pretty close, so it's kind of inconsequential. These kills are not the main source of pressure. It's the fact that he's gone for this very fast 3rd base, very fast tier 2. It's complete, and he's starting to add the tech as Goliaths come out to insulate him against the air. He also very heavily wounded a Dracodon, so you're thinking about the HP of this attack, the durability of this attack, and of course 2 more vultures are going to pocket their way off to the side. That might have been spotted by the artisan, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter too much. And we got the 3 Goliaths here, and we got the rally point not far off. The Dracodons are going to be the first things to show. The mines are going to help them out. There is a witness still with this army, but they're not quite on attack move for it. And look at that. The Nexus isn't quite stopped or stymied, but it's a double expansion from Shopdog to both the 7 o'clock and the double gas base that we see the counter spot on over here. Great self-stun, like well done by Shopdog to trigger that. But it does look like the Goliath count is more than enough to deal with the Panoptis. We are going to end up seeing a lot of Dracodons go down here, and I don't think that Shopkeeper Dog is going to be able to pressure against this. The turnaround there is very, very snappy, very quick. The Exemplar spotted. The Goliath count still more than enough, and it's just kind of rallied on in. So this is a suicide mission for that poor Exemplar that Shopkeeper Dog forgot about. He's got a Crucible empowering everything else. Looks like they won Artisan. Oh, there's a couple Artisans here getting extra Vespine. One of them mining, the other not. Trying to pressure this Nexus with the 2 Vultures. It's been a lot of damage has been put down on it. That will be a likely attack target, which Aoud will either go for in a straightforward manner or use as a mind game and then go hit another base. Interesting. I was thinking, there's been a suggestion a while ago to make it so that flash shielding always regenerates at max value if you're within the presence of a power field. I was kind of debating that because, now we have the Autocord as a mobile power field. You have Crucibles, which increase shield regeneration rates for structures, because that's a structure attribute, right? So that's kind of a neat little nifty thing. They also do funny things, like they increase the movement speed of flying Terran structures, because the verbiage is deliberately as wide as possible. It's like increases the efficiency and like essentially speed of structures, right? And it doesn't matter what stat you're thinking of, you know what I mean? As long as they're completed structures, they'll get the benefit. Vultures will clear these 2 Zealots that were exculpatory towards the double gas low ground 3rd base there, and it looks like maybe a 4th on the way for Aoud. He's obviously a bit later than Shopdog is, but the workers are starting to rally. Double Unitary Union is going to be where Shopdog goes for tier 3. Interesting. Will he want the Uptectons? That's what I want to know. He said something earlier about his PSYOP failed, Uptectons will continue. So that's a funny little bit. There was also a point where Nebline was in the chat just talking with them at the beginning, so I I let the replay run for a little bit because you didn't want Ob's chat kind of cluttering the replay a little bit, and then it was just amusing to me that happened at the beginning of the replay. And so shout out Nebline one time. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Good saturation on those. It's not been controlled by Aoud. Definitely a mistake considering he's got the Goliaths, right? Strigas have started to come out. I'm not sure I saw any Reclaimers. I thought I saw an Apostle at some point. Yeah, I did see an Apostle at some point. There you are. You have a couple of those bad boys. Tough puppies. And Daedala, tier 3 at 10 minutes, 10.5 minutes. Well, we are seeing the rushes, that's for sure. Gonna start popping these power generators. I should do something like have a neutral structure like that, but it actually has some kind of gameplay purpose if you somehow mind control it. And like, there's no way to do that right now, but I guess like Empress is the only way to seize control of a structure. It's temporary, so it does have timed life, but I don't know, that would be really funny if it just like passively gives you money or something. All right, the random exemplar is the most expensive way to perhaps get an advance warning sign on this attack. What does Shopdog even have to attack? He's got a couple of Silience exemplars. The Zealots are going to try to get some stuff done, but great, like, basically ad hoc mine placement here from Aoud. His Vultures are going to help out and really delay this fight, allowing him to get a lot of worker kills. He's going to just focus down the Nexus and then see if he can exit stage right. He'll also maybe incidentally discover this base up here. Forcing a cancel on it would be nice, especially if his army is going to go down anyway. He seems to have been fine committing the army to the fight, which doesn't mean that it's going to die. Remember, there's the Apostles there, but the Exemplars snipe him down. Only one Apostle in the back. Can't exactly spread the good word if there's no one who's willing to listen. And so he will fall. On the way back out, the Nexus is reestablished. You can probably just transfer most of those workers up to the 9 o'clock once it finishes. We got a Phalanx and a bunch of Strigas. Architect's on the way. I love to see that. You know, Shopdog was one of the players who said that, you know, why would you make Architect when you can make Uptecton? So too said that by Arbuz. But sometimes you're in a situation where you just can't afford to go for Uptecton. It's very expensive, very time consuming. Big committal there. The tier 3 structure is almost complete. We're kind of in a similar pocket as the opening of this game, where Aoud was scaling up to tier 2 really quickly, so his tier 1 army was less powerful after the initial flood of Vultures. And now Shopdog can kind of effect change on the map while the tech transition occurs. This is not a situation you find yourself in too often in the historical aspects of the meta, and instantly going for apothecaries. I wonder what he'll make out of these. I think like 7 steps are actually really good. Obviously there's Silver Tongues for sniping, which are like the heralding unit, like that's the main unit. If you have a lot of melee, like Striga's, one Hypnagogue to cast its ability would be pretty epic to just port on top of the whole army of your opponent. Is kind of epic. And you can also use it to like make a tactical escape, I guess, although it's a bit interesting how it's done. A Diadem is in production, Iron Foundry on the way as well. Sentinels, Cestus, and a Watchdog to try to slow things down. One more mine to just a little bit frustrate the attack path. But this is high ground position here. The Assylians trying to stack up what they can. The Hierophant was increasing attack speed for a time. It's been cut down. Striga's definitely going to have a hard time pushing in. A little bit of extra armor on that Phalanx, keeping it alive for one more salvo is worth. I don't know, man. These Assylians are pretty clumped up. Phalanxes are having a lot of power here, a lot of effort from Shopkeeper Dog to shut down this base. It is a treasury, so it will fall a bit easier. Very nice fortified position from Aoud, stalling it out long enough that he can start interacting with his tier 3. Silver Tongue's on the way. The Diadem will finish soon. Where is the Diadem? Maybe we'll see it take a shot once it's complete. It might be in like the 3rd base area. There it is, yep. First Diadem shot will definitely be a surprise when Shopkeeper Dog looks back at this position. But he's wiped the base. He's taken out just about everything. Yeah, you see that effect field and you're like, God damn it. Now, thankfully, he ends up dodging that one. He'll cycle back. Striga's, Phalanx, Uptecton number 1 on the way, and a 2nd Ancestral Archives around the 2nd Crucible of the game, by the way. Very cute. He has, in the meantime, set up that base number 5, remade his low ground double gas base. The power generator on Shopdog's side is gone, but not on Aoud's side, which is very funny. Just a path blocker right now. The Silver Tongues are out. He's also adding some Dilettantes, which don't suck. You'd usually want a little bit of armor rend with that, but... yeah, if you do like 7 Dilettante, 1 Huracan drop, watch how fast the Nexus is deleted, dude. It's so good. I say that. Nobody's going to do that, but it is a possibility. Does he even have a star pad? I don't think he made a star pad, so I guess he can't drop. He went for the future station, so Penumbra? Perhaps that's what he's going to flex into. He didn't go the Reclaimer add-on, so you can't make Anticathons or Aeons. Yeah, there's the Penumbra in the production tab being produced right now. Just sort of panning over, we see a synthetic cyanide being added. I love that the Uptecton is stuck. Serves you right for making an Uptecton, Shopkeeper Dog. Oh, an Architect got mined. I can't believe that. The minefields plus the diadem is super good. That's like excellent synergy. Just stay a while. Just stand still for a little bit, you know? Now the diadem is trying to find a target here. Looks like it was attacking towards the tail end because of the mines. Can't be frontlining with the exemplars against all those silver tongues. Uh-oh. Pull back! Oh, he just got shellacked. Well, Shopdog wants to go for the fight anyway. His units are getting into melee range. Strigas are sending them back. And the exemplars, well, there's artillery and air units still left alive here. You know, the units that are easy to control. Poor exemplars have they stand no chance against the silver tongues, let's be real. Uptectons, though, they'll do all right. Because they're Uptectons. They're pretty good. When they become too weak, they'll be called Uptectons. You know, OP into UP, underpowered. Base number 6 being taken in the bottom left, the 8 o'clock spawn, so to speak. A lot of jockeying for this position here at the 10 o'clock. It's kind of interesting. Holy scribes. Don't worry, he'll see him later. He doesn't even do anything. He's like, yeah, whatever. This is where Neblime would just make a Xenolith, you know? We do see one being made. Holy shit. He makes it at his third. That's beautiful. Base number 6 won't be getting off the ground here, but it will slow Ayud's advance long enough. He doesn't have his Penumbra on the front line. Okay, there it is. Another one just finished. Is that a second synthetic, or is that the same? Yeah, it is. A second synthetic is on the way somewhere. Well, oh, interesting. He's going to go Vagrant. So Vagrants did get that HP buff, right? So I'm assuming that's what he's going to make a lot of chaff out of when he remembers that they exist. Yeah, Vagrants just got queued up. Trying to clear out all the mines that you see randomly. Uptecton shots are pretty good here, clearing all of the front lines. The one Penumbra is going to be a bit hard done by here. It's just out of range of the Uptecton, so now they're going to get a bit closer. It'll deal with the air stack pretty nicely. But you don't have, like, Phalanxes, unsieged Phalanxes are really good into Uptecton. If you get an Azazel, even better. But not quite able to do much here. Or is he? I mean, that Penumbra is going to take a while to be brought down. Look at the armor it's got. One Terran Walker is as good as two Protoss Walkers, you know what I mean? The Giga Walker, that is. The treasury on location, just in case, you know? Like, hey, maybe I'll take this space. That's cute. Well, meanwhile, top right is being taken 2 o'clock by Shopdog. That treasury is nowhere in sight. Only one diadem for Ayud. He doesn't want to make more. Oh. There's that teleportation from the Uptecton. I don't know why it's a global sound. Don't worry. Kind of pathing into death here, unfortunately, but Striga's rendered their own armor, which is kind of funny. Just for a moment. This attack looks a bit better for Shopdog. He's got to deal with these silver tongues, though. I guess that might have been what the analogs were for, just kind of retaliate in general. And look at that. Yeah, he calls GG. He knows that he's toast. Didn't want to try to fight. I mean, he had more Penumbras. I feel like he probably could have, but the money was starting to run dry for Ayud. The money was starting to run dry. He lost that 10 o'clock base that we were just at the end there. He lost it too many times. He's going to lose it again, and that was his main active little bit of stuff there. So a big shout out to Shopdog for showing us a game where Terran hits tier 3. Maybe the next time we see that, Terran will win. GG.